Hi, and welcome to a very special episode of BroadwayWorld.com TV. We're broadcasting here today upstairs at Sardi's restaurant in the heart of Times Square, and with us are five very lucky people. Hugh Panero, Michael Arden, Peter Lockyer, and Sean McDermott are four very talented Broadway performers who have been selected to go on tour this summer with Barbra Streisand in Europe. With us as well today is the tour's co-director, Richard J. Alexander. They're all talking to us today right before they leave for Europe for what's sure to be a summer to remember. Now, let's get to the questions. I think Richard's kind of the place to start. How did this all come about?
Well, I did the U.S. tour, Barbra Streisand, this past year, and we had such success that it was decided that we were going to go to Europe. And as you know, El Divo toured with us in the United States. So when the opportunity came of, working in guys to go to Europe, El Divo were, of course, on their own tour. And I said to Marty and Barbara, I said, what we should really do is get four guys from Broadway, because most of the stuff that we do, which is standards, Barbara's catalog, and Broadway songs, I said, we should hire four guys from Broadway. So they all loved the idea, and I had a short list of about 12 people. And I'm very happy to say that we got all our first choices. Hugh Panero, I've known the longest since Les Mis, when he played Marius on the first national tour and came to Broadway. Michael's the newest member of My Knowledge Tribe, who I saw when he was still at Juilliard and did Harold and Maude in Workshop, and I thought he was fantastic, and he's gone on to star in many things. Sean I know very well from Miss Saigon, the original Broadway cast. And Peter I first met Saigon, although I'd seen him in Cyrano, the musical, and also Marius and Les Mis. So also knowing the colors of their voices, and none of them are too tough on the eyes, obviously. I thought this is a good group, and Barbara and Marty said absolutely go for it. I also know their voices really, really well, which was a great opportunity of sort of understanding what the requirements were for the show, and also to build something on them that was theirs, that was not about Il Divo or what Il Divo does, and sort of cash in on their musical abilities and interesting singular traits. So that's how it happened, and we've been rehearsing, and we rehearsed in L.A. They've not met Barbara yet, interestingly. They came to California. Sean is actually living in California, and the other one thing, and I kept going, I can't wait to watch you guys' faces when you first face Barbara. I can't wait. And of course the day came and went, because I'd been out at the house the day before, and there were various things that weren't going to allow that day to happen. So we had a conference call on speakerphone right at the piano, which was very interesting. And I can only imagine the little bit of deflation of coming home and going, oh my God, we didn't even meet her. So they're going to face her for the first time in Zurich, but she's the greatest, and they're all going to love each other. And she's heard them sing, because we did little demo discs and stuff in rehearsal and stuff like that, and she loves them. And so it's going to be pretty exciting. But I'm still very excited about the day they clock in on those blue eyes of hers, and you're looking at this living legend. I'm just going to watch them all very carefully, because those are going to be my stories to tell.
When did everybody meet for the first time?
Well, they've all known each other, right?
Except for Michael.
When did you get together as a group? Was it here? Was it in L.A.?
In L.A.
Yeah.
For me, I had briefly met you once.
We met at an A's benefit that was done around Christmas time, right? Christmas on Ice. And I've known Sean socially. We've never really
we've never worked together.
We've done some benefit things,
stuff.
And I know Peter from a brief stint in Phantom together, but we have a really good mutual friend, Steve Buntrock, who's like our brother, so we felt like brothers already. And but the first time we got together as a group was in California.
A month ago.
You also?
Yeah, I was there, and we all went out and had Michael introduced us to some odd cocktail at Bossa Nova. What was it?
Some white wine
Sangria, which I thought was for poor kids in college.
Which it probably is.
Yeah.
That's me usually.
But it was pretty delicious.
Bartles and James wine cooler.
But we were all on the straight and narrow rehearsing and stuff like that. But also for me to hear them for the first time. And they did a lot. They learned the material that was scheduled in the show, as well as the new stuff that we were trying on them. So it was pretty exciting to hear them and then look at them and just go, wow, they look like they belong together. Which, if you look at a group like Il Divo or anything that's even remotely like them, those things are science. Do you know what I mean? They grow them. It's like growing, something in a petri dish. You know what I mean? And it takes time. And they were together, I think, 2 years before they were unleashed on the American public. So seeing them together or seeing them photographed together, I just go, wow, that feels good. Barbara's going to go crazy for these guys. And today when we leave here, we have rehearsal. They haven't seen the sketch yet, because they have an acting sketch with her, and it was written by Jeff Richmond, who won an Emmy for Frasier. And what he did was he interviewed them all on the telephone, and sort of got their stories of, how did you first learn about Barbara? And it's all been worked into the sketch. I wasn't stupid enough to send them in advance.
We would have edited it already.
Yeah, they would be busy already, on the telephone. So
Talk about groups like Il Divo taking a couple years to work. These guys have had less time. What has it been like for you, suddenly singing as a group?
I think for us, when we were around the piano singing, we were all just sort of looking at each other, trying to figure out how to blend our voices. And I think because we've done so many different sort of projects, it started to happen pretty quickly. And I think towards the end there, I think we all started looking at each other saying, hey, we're really starting to sound like a group now.
it's also mutual respect, isn't it? Like you all sort
Absolutely.
of know each other's accomplishments, so you all sort of found a...
It really, I think I don't feel like it was that hard for any of us. I think, again, because we're all used to singing with other people and duets and whatnot, and, after we learned our pitches and our notes, we were actually able to literally watch each other and put the consonants in the same places, and I think we did it pretty organically. There was not a lot of, which is, I think, a tribute to bringing the four of us together and knowing that it would work.
The thing I love about these guys is I like the word velocity. Like, I think that Barbara has tremendous velocity in her voice. So when she'll sing a note, and I'll just go, God, what does that feel like to, blow out your lungs like that? Like any great singer. These guys all have velocity, So it's not like they just hit notes or land on them. They actually fly with them. And so one of the choices in the show, which is Something's Coming, it's like looking at four Tonys. Do you know what I mean? Meaning Tony the character, and just hearing those voices soar, and it so turns me on. I think it's very, very exciting.
Just scaffold off that word velocity, because you did use it quite a bit, but in rehearsal it didn't land for me until we sang with that orchestra, 58-piece orchestra, and all of a sudden I was like, and like you said, it makes you want to sing. And,
it gets under your wings.
Yeah.
Our musical director, by the way, is our conductor is William Ross, who's pretty legendary in his own right. As a matter of fact, I watched last night A Life with Judy Garland, Me and My Shadows. I'd never seen it before.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
And he was the musical director of it, which I was unaware, so I wrote him yesterday, and he goes, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What can you tell us about the material that we're doing? Is it the same as Il Divo, different?
Well, they're doing the material that we did. Part of the task in doing the show when it was agreed that Il Divo was going to go on tour with us was, how do we integrate them in the show? We didn't want an opening act. That was very, very important to me and to Barbara, that they be part of the show, not like the people go, oh, Il Divo's opening the show, we'll show up late, and then you'll miss the beginning of the show. That was a big thing to get the audience conditioned for.
Right.
So it was the question of how do you take Barbara's music and make it better, if you dare say such a thing. So the fact that she had recorded Music of the Night with Michael Crawford, and she sang the harmony, by the way, because Michael had the melody, and that's what he knew. And, which is always, it's Barbra Streisand singing, she's singing the harmony. So we built that around.
Michael Crawford singing.
Huh?
It's also Michael Crawford singing.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's the whole point, isn't it? You know what I mean?
What's
So
about that?
why should he sing, harmony? Anyway, so we did that, and then we figured out that Somewhere would really lend itself, and we gave that a big double finish. In other words, so to take these songs and just give them a power punch that takes it even to another level with a double ending. And then Evergreen was a very interesting choice because, see, they're all multilingual because they play Europe a lot, and Carlos is from Spain, and Sebastian is from France, and blah, blah. So we thought Evergreen had been recorded in all these languages. She actually recorded them herself in all the languages and tracked down those recordings, which I had never heard. So these guys, interestingly enough, they took to the languages like fish to water. I was shocked because, Barbara said, how's the languages? I go, they're amazing. And then she heard them, she goes, they're amazing. And so she was loving it. What is very exciting about this is that by the time the Il Divo part of the show came, Il Divo was expected to do what Il Divo does, right? These guys, because they're being put together, for the first time, it's like, what do they do? So we decided that the best opportunity for them was, rather than trying to put something on them, was to not have a non sequitur. And to sort of, because Barbara comes from Broadway, these guys come from Broadway, is to choose from the Broadway stuff. And also because Barbara did those couple of Broadway albums and recorded a lot of songs from Broadway and off Broadway, that we went for, Something's Coming just spoke to me. Barbara recorded it, but the arrangement was built for these guys based on the Broadway original. And then we're doing You'll Never Walk Alone, which was another fluke of timing because just the week we learned it, American Idol was on. And somebody sang You'll Never Walk Alone, and everybody said, oh my God, that song's as fresh as, that could be a hit today. So those were flukes, but the greatest thing that's come out of this is Barbara's always wanted to sing I Finally Found Someone from The Mirror Has Two Faces, the duet with Bryan Adams. And so we did an arrangement for the guys to sing with Barbara, and she just loved it when she heard it. She just went crazy. She loved them. She loved, the way the song laid out, and of course with the orchestra and everything. And it's very exciting, and also to watch them pop their voices out. So they're getting to show some theater color, some stuff, and also for me, staging-wise, it's a joy because they're so inventive that I don't go in with a book and go like, this is what we're doing, we're moving here and there. I sort of watch what everybody's doing. I remember Michael did something one day and I said, I'm going to cash in on that, or, and you sort of take what people do and then make it work. But we sort of staged everything in a few hours, and I think it's good. If we can remember it today, I'll be thrilled.
Who have they been rehearsing with? They haven't met Barbara yet.
Well, they rehearsed with themselves, and they also rehearsed with a friend of theirs.
Liz Calloway.
Liz Calloway, phenomenal. Liz Calloway.
Yeah, and Liz is great. Liz stood in for Barbara the last time on the East Coast, and so she knew the material. You know what I mean? She's such a skillful singer, so it's great because we rehearsed in Connecticut on the set, all of us, because they'd never seen the set. And part of the reason you set up the set before you go to Europe is that it's not like you can find a cable in Europe. If you're missing something, it's not like you can order out to Radio Shack. So you have to be sure that everything you've got. And so that's why you have to assemble, and that's what we did. And so we had fun, especially that train ride home was fun. With the ham sandwich that I wanted so bad.
Nachos,
I know.
gin and tonic.
This is a rough crowd physically because, like I said, if you look at how beautiful they all are, and everybody starts calling everybody on like what's going on with their bodies and their faces and their hair. It's rough. This is a rough crowd.
You're gonna wear that.
However, we're very fortunate in that Armani are dressing the boys, and I think everybody's really happy with the clothes, right?
Yeah, they look
There's
great.
some beautiful clothes that Armani fitted them for, and so we're going to debut those in Europe, and they're happily on their way somewhere to Zurich.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Talking about Europe and looking at the schedule, it looks like you guys actually have a fairly leisurely summer schedule, getting to spend a few days in each city. Are there things that you're
Mainly
looking
we'll just
forward
be
to
sitting
doing?
in our hotel rooms, preparing for the next concert, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of vocal rest.
There's kind of like one or a couple of things that I can't wait to do this in this city.
It's nice for me because I happen to have I went to a boarding school with a lot of international students, so I'm going to get to see a lot of my high school friends.
Is that true? You went to a boarding school?
Yeah, I did.
So Bear must have really spoken to you.
Well, yeah.
Are you Catholic too?
I'm not Catholic, but I did go to Episcopal school, which is sort of diet Catholic, I guess you could say. It's sort of between the two. It's sort of.
Wow, you went to
So I'm
boarding
going to get
school.
a bunch of friends from high school that I haven't seen in a long time. Are going to get to.
Does anybody else know anybody? Hugh, you appeared in the West End. You were
I
in
did Showboat over there for 6 months, so I've got a lot of friends that I can't wait to see in London. And
of course, we all know Cameron, so we'll go out and party with him one night. And Sean, you recorded at Abbey Road Studios a couple of your albums, right?
That's cool. 2 of my Broadway albums,
Right. And Peter, you toured Europe when you were a dancer.
I toured Europe when I was really young, so I don't know
42nd
if I
Street.
remember anyone over there, but yeah, I spent a year in Europe touring around, so it'll be nice to revisit some of those cities.
But the good thing is we can take day trips. I mean, I think from Vienna, the two places that have been mentioned a lot are Budapest and Prague.
Prague is...
And
Gotta go to Prague.
they're kind of like train, two different directions, but two train trips.
Is anybody doing like searching out your roots sort of thing in Europe?
Just beginning.
Because I have family in Barcelona that I'm going to try to see that I've never met before.
And I have family coming to different cities, and one particular, my sister and my dad and family are going to be in Dublin, because that's where I'm from. Both my families, my mom and my dad's
Do you have
families.
relatives there? Mm-hmm. Anybody else with Euro relatives?
I'm gonna try to track down some of my family in Dublin. I'm half Irish and half Italian, but we won't mention the Italian part.
Oh my God, I didn't know you were. I just thought you were Italian always.
No, half Irish, half Italian.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm going to look up family in Ireland as well. It seems like we have a big Irish contingency here.
Is that why we're all tenors?
Yeah, right.
All of my family is
We'll be brushing up on our best river dance with the clogs we bought in wherever.
And you also obviously then will meet Barbara for the first time in Europe. And you've all mentioned that you're fans. Do you have kind of a favorite Barbra Streisand something, be it a song or a CD or a movie?
I actually have a surprise gift for her.
Okay.
That I'm not. I do, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Or
It's a cocktail. It's a
It's
margarita.
not going to be a surprise if I tell you. But actually,
We're not airing this until your first concert.
Oh, really?
You are safe. You can.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
We're airing it on the 18th, our opening night.
Really?
Yeah, we'll already have played the show by the time
Okay.
America wakes up.
All right, if this is, are you telling me the truth? Okay, then I'll tell my really quick story. When I was about 10 years old, my parents and I were vacationing in Hawaii. And right out front on the beach of the Royal Hawaiian, at the next blanket.
That's expensive, that hotel.
I know. And there was a table full of some, movie star type people. And who was there but Dr. Kiley from Marcus Welby, MD, James Brolin. And I said, Mom, give me the camera. So I took a snapshot as James Brolin was walking by. And when I found out about the tour, I called my mom and dad. I said, hey, do we still have that photo of James Brolin on the beach? And they said, yeah, it's in the photo album of Hawaii. I said, okay, do me a favor, take it to the Duane Reade or the CVS and make me a copy. I said, because I got to give it to Barbara as an opening night gift. So I have this 5x7 of James Brolin in a lime green bathing suit and a white T-shirt, big like movie star sunglasses. So hopefully she'll like that.
That's great.